Hi, I'm Adam Shiva, and one of my passions is around compiling and synthesizing information that could lead to a more fulfilling life. And one of the resources I really enjoy playing with are ideas around masculinity. And I think that in a time when the shadow patriarchy has caused our vision of masculinity to become so distorted, uh, creating and refining within ourselves a generative, integrity centric form of masculinity is of so much value right now. So, one of the resources that actually was the first book recommended to me when I started inquiring into deepening my understanding of the masculine was a book by Robert Bly called Iron John. And it tells a story over a very long kind of path with a lot of explanation of a boy born into a kingdom who, through all this time of estrangement, gets to step back into his own kingship. And it's this analogy for our own lives. But there's a particular part late in the book that to me was really inspiring. Because in this work, what's important is not just stories, but to me, things that we can apply in our daily lives to reflect on the phases we've gone through, the phases of our own growth, the elements of that building integrity. And so this was something that I felt that I could apply and consider regularly to see times and cycles of understanding my own process of growth. And so, late in the story, goes through this part where he catches 3 apples on 3 separate nights as he's kind of being shown by this sort of magic power that he's going to be the new king. And on 3 separate nights, he wears 3 separate suits of armor with riding on a matching horse. And the first night is about the red. And so the red, in the analogy of the story, is really about this fiery passion and this ability to engage with life from our animal instincts. It's essentially innate to a 7-year-old boy to want to just play rough and to get really embodied and to see what our edges are, scrambling on creeks or trying to catch something or fish or trap something. And that very active, primal, embodied aspect of self is such an essential stage in early growth. It also plays into being able to hear what we want in an interaction. To not just be balancing one person's desires versus another person's desires and be this midpoint peacemaker, but actually to be able to feel our own, this is what feels like what I want. And to have that play a role so that people can feel you in your relationships, in negotiations. So that your passion, it's this feeling of passion that people can trust is you. Feels like behind what you're doing, there's this rich you-ness of it. Also, I think that it's kind of summed up in a way by this Marianne Williamson quote that goes, the only thing you have to do is let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. And to me, that's this like listening to what our body instincts are. And the way that this is spoken of by Freud is that there's these different structures, and this one's about the most primal, most basic, the id, what our kind of body instincts want to, he says it's often to have sex and to kill. And I think that our body instincts are so much vaster than that, but it plays this valuable role of seeing how in any interaction we have what we want out of it. And also we have like a primal defensiveness that can actually be really generative. To be able to actually have integrated this red aspect of self, something can become dangerous and you can step forward as protector in a way where if this isn't part of your path yet, then when things get scary, there's a tendency to back down and defer and let some kind of out of integrity form of masculine overrun the situation, because that feeling of, no, this is like my side of this. I won't put up with that. And that like instinctive kind of wolf pack defender doesn't have a part inside you yet. And so this aspect of the red is just one portion of our growth, and by giving it energy and by validating it as not intrinsically shadow, as something that is actually healthier when given its place and allowed to integrate, it can actually be a generative phase and element within a healthy masculine psyche. And in my next video, I'll talk about the next stage and kind of the concepts that this builds upon, called the white and the black. Thank you.